So good evening, guys. Bonjour. And the president's name is you might have guessed up till now, Emmanuel Macron. So recently, he was also in the news for his Bastille Day parade, which he invited Prime Minister Modi as a chief guest, which was a spectacle where even the soldier from the armed forces of India also paraded along with the French troops. And another thing is recently he also faced some challenging situation in handling the riots which were there across France.
So in the main chart, Capricorn ascendant, Saturn is in an enemy sign, retrograde in the eighth. That's a challenging combination.
Hmm.
Now we come to the D9 chart, which is called the Navamsa chart. The
Hmm.
Lagna Lord, Saturn is in a friendly sign, so it's
Hmm.
happy, and it's
Hmm.
with Saturn, it's with Rahu, right? So
Hmm.
here the Lagna has gotten strength,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
And overall, if you look, his main chart has planets are not very strong.
Hmm.
Many of them are in enemy signs: Mercury, Jupiter, Venus.
Hmm.
But if you look at the Navamsha, the planets are very strong.
Okay.
So
So.
Venus is exalted,
Hmm.
and Jupiter is in own sign.
Hmm.
Saturn is in own sign. Saturn is in a friendly sign, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, which shows that outside he would have had to face a lot of challenging situations, like you talked about the riots.
Hmm.
But he has got a lot of inner strength and stability
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
handle those.
I got your point.
Hmm.
So what does this particular scenario mean? Like, yeah, I also am learning
Hmm.
astrology. I saw these charts where the D1 planets weren't as much as strong, the planets in D1, but the planets in D9 were very strong as compared to like opposites. Like in D1 they were like like
Hmm.
in very low energy, low state, and in D9 it was opposite, like they're exalted and in their own
Yeah.
Rashi. So what does that mean basically?
So D1, when you are studying both the charts together, D1 gets more weightage for the external factors, what
Mm,
happens outside, and D9 gets more weightage for the state of the mind of the person. So when
mm.
D9 is stronger than D1, then they have a better state of mind despite challenging situations that they have to handle.
Okay, okay, okay. And how about the outcome then? The outcome or means how would they means the manifestation of whatever task they do or work they do. How in the on what it depends basically. Because here it's a conflicting situation. Because D1 is like this and D9 is like this.
Right. So you will start with D1 only, and then based on the dasha, if the uh, planets active in the dasha are stronger or not, the manifestation will happen. So
Okay.
let's look at the planets one by one, and then we can go to the dasha or a
Yeah.
timing system that we use in Vedic astrology.
Okay, okay. Let's
So let's see. A moon is a strong planet for him. It's in a friendly house of Mars,
hmm.
and moon is in the fourth house also, which is a good house, and it's the lord of the seventh house also. So
Hmm.
one thing that you will notice in many of these influential people who have power or fame is their Kendra or Kona are very strong. So when I say Kendra, it is either the 1, 5 or 9 houses, or
Hmm.
the that is Kona 1, 5 and 9, and Kendra is 1, 4, 7 and 10. Right?
Hmm.
So here his fourth house is quite strong,
Hmm.
despite a slight blemish of 8, which is the eighth Rashi's effect here,
Hmm.
which is called the eighth Padam.
Hmm.
But mostly it is strong. So it gives him a lot of inner stability.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. I
and then if we look at other planets here, they are not that strong. Sun is okay,
hmm.
but it's in the 12th house. It's with Mercury,
Eighth house.
and
Sorry, 12th house. Huh? Huh.
uh, Sun is at 5 degrees, Mercury at 6 degrees. So Mercury is combust here.
Hmm.
So he would have had some issues in his communication and
Hmm.
some wrong decision making also. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how well he handled the riots. We can check in the current dasha what's going on later.
Yeah.
His Mars is also not that strong in D1 chart.
Hmm.
right? It's actually debilitative. So here it's the retaliation or the when the riots happen, how much he will fight back
Hmm.
will be not as far as he should have done,
Okay.
right?
I got your point. The
Yeah.
recent news is the unrest is still there. The riots have mellowed down. They have come
Okay.
lesser, but the unrest is still there.
Right.
The unrest between in the
Uh,
public. So it's an interesting thing. As I can see, his Mercury is like debilitated, not debilitated, but in a very low state, low
right.
energy. And then how can he be so intellectual? Basically, he excelled in studies, and it was written. So how did he
Uh,
manage to
so he
develop?
has a lot of support in his D9 chart.
Hmm.
So Venus is exalted. So Jupiter and Venus are the two main planets responsible for education, right?
Hmm.
And here Mercury is strong.
Hmm.
So the effect of Mercury being weak in D1 is slightly
Hmm.
uh, lessened here.
Hmm.
And here you will see Jupiter is also very strong. So both the planets of education are very strong. So as
Okay.
you rightly point out, he excelled in his studies and so on.
So it
Yeah.
got totally negated. The D1 Mercury, in spite of D1
It's
being
not totally negative, but the effect is reduced.
okay. Okay. I got the point.
Hmm. And Saturn is also very strong here.
Hmm.
Let's look at the timings.
Hmm.
So he was born in 1977, right?
1977. Yes.
So his Venus was running for roughly 9 years
Hmm.
when he was a kid.
Hmm.
And so because Venus is strong here,
Hmm.
that's a good support. Even though Venus is not so strong, but it's in an okay house. It's in the 11th house.
Hmm.
Then from 9 to the age of 16, his son Dasha was running.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so Sun would have been a challenging time for him
Okay.
because Sun is the eighth lord here and it's sitting in the 12th house. Both are uh, tough houses.
Hmm.
In D9, Sun is okay, so that
Okay.
mitigates something.
Hmm.
And then from 16 to 26, his Moon is running.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Moon is great for him, right?
Okay.
We
Yes.
saw Moon is
Right.
one of the strongest planets.
Yes. Yes.
So that brought him a lot of success, and that's the time he would have finished his studies and
Hmm.
everything. So that has been a really good time for him.
Hmm.
And then Mars came in.
Hmm.
So here in D9, Ketu and Mars are together,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And but Jupiter is also there. So
Hmm.
normally, if Ketu and Mars are together, that's not considered good because that's very impulsive. But
Hmm.
here, a strong Jupiter is protecting both of them. So he would have made a lot of decisions, but they would have turned out well
Hmm.
because of the Jupiter's intelligence.
I got the point.
Hmm.
Interesting insights. So,
Yeah.
uh, so going back to his life incidents now, so that so there
Hmm.
is something very interesting that happened with him while he was a teenager. He
Hmm.
had a romantic relationship as a teenager. Is around, I think he was 15 to be exact. He,
Right.
yeah, 15 years old. When he was 15-year-old, he,
Hmm.
uh, he met his future wife, which her name is Bridget Trogno, and
Hmm.
he was 15 years old, and she was his 39-year-old married drama teacher. They started a romantic relationship when he was 16, which caused
Uh-huh.
a scandal, leading to his parents sending him to finish high school in Paris. So,
Okay.
so this happened when he was 16-year-old. So can we find something when
So when he was 15, his Dasha of Sun was running.
yes, yes.
Right. Do you know the year of that?
Yeah, he was 15, 16-year-old, so you can say
Uh,
it is around the
so
90.
probably Sun Venus or Sun Ketu was running.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
90 to
so
93. The year.
Sun we already saw is
Hmm,
eighth lord,
hmm.
and then it's sitting in a 12th house.
Okay.
So that's a
Yeah.
challenging combination. So why did you say it is traumatic?
I didn't say it was traumatic. It was scandalous, basically, in the sense that a
Ah,
15-year-old guy,
right.
and his parents had moved him to another school because of this.
Yeah.
Because
So basically, Sun is ruling the eighth house of taboo, right? Scandals. So it's
Okay.
something that you don't normally do.
Uh-huh.
So that's what it ended up doing. And probably Venus was running, then Venus is the time when you get into relationships.
Oh.
So it probably happened in Sun, Venus,
Hmm.
and he got into that.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
And she was also his future wife, so he married that woman later.
Is he still married to her?
He married that woman later, that same woman who he had an
Huh.
affair with.
Are they still married?
Yeah, they're still married, and
Okay.
she's 24-year old older than him.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that's, can
So
you see that older partner? How
let
can, yeah.
yeah. So let us look at his marriage.
Mm.
So let us start with the seventh house. Then we will go to Venus and then Libra and the seventh Rashi Padam. Right.
Mm.
So seventh house has Mars, which is
Mm.
not so strong.
Mm.
The Lord is Moon, which is very strong.
Mm.
Yeah. Moon indicates an older woman. So the personification of Moon itself is an older woman, right?
Oh,
And
interesting.
because out of Moon and Mars, Moon is stronger,
Mm.
uh, so that will dominate.
Oh,
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah.
Mm.
So that's already we see something happening in that direction.
Mm.
It may not always be the case, but it definitely supports that. And the marriage has lasted, as you said. So that's coming from the blessings of the moon.
Okay,
Of
but
course, there is.
yes, I had heard that Saturn represents old age.
Saturn is also older people. Moon is also an old woman,
Okay,
specifically. Yeah.
okay.
And you also see the eighth house Rashi Padam, A8 is there, which
Mm.
again that pattern of scandal or taboo is repeating. So marrying
Yes.
against the convention.
Exactly. He's famous for that all over the world, basically. It's
Yeah,
not a great reason to be famous, but
right.
I think people notice.
Uh, and again, you see Venus is in the eighth Rashi, eighth zodiac sign of Scorpio. So
Yeah.
that eighth energy is there again and again repeating.
So, what does that signify, basically, the eighth energy?
Eighth is taboo, right?
Okay.
Scandal. So you go against the grain and you do something which is not normally done. So
Mm.
eighth lord is active in the Dasha and seventh lord is in the eighth Padam. And
Mm.
Venus is also is in the eighth zodiac sign.
Okay.
And then we can look at Libra also.
Mm.
Libra is fine, it's in the 10th house.
Mm.
And then you can also look at the seventh Padam.
Mm.
So seventh Padam is in the
Mm.
again 10th house. So that is not that's supporting the marriage.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
good for the marriage because 10th house is a good house. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now we
Interesting.
can repeat the same exercise in D9.
Hmm. Yeah, please go ahead with D9 because it would be, it would further give us the.
Yeah.
Please.
So we have Leo Rashi here,
Hmm.
and we have the ninth and third Padam here, which is fine. Now
Hmm.
Sun is again in the fourth house in Taurus, and Sun is fine, and it's with Mercury, which is also strong.
Hmm.
And Mercury is the lord of the fifth and the
Hmm.
eighth. So
Hmm.
again, that eighth thing is there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then fifth is supportive of the marriage because fifth is a good house.
Okay. Okay. So,
And of course, his Venus is exalted here, so that's supporting the marriage.
okay.
Uh, And then Moon is in Libra. Libra is for marriage, and is Aruda Lagna. The ascendant Padam is there, so it definitely shows interest in getting married. And
Hmm.
he got married so early, right? Or got into a relationship.
Hmm.
Sixth house Padam is there, so that would have brought some conflicts. And
I,
in the end, we will see the seventh Padam, which is again in the 10th house of Scorpio, again the eighth Rashi. So 5 times the number 8 has repeated here. Yeah.
so, what does that signify basically? Means there are a lot of eighth house things are
Hmm.
coming up. So, does that signify that it's going to be rough or along with, being successful?
Uh,
Or what
you
exactly?
could have predicted rough if other combinations were also rough, but we saw a lot of 10th house energy, 5th house energy. So that has sustained the marriage.
So what will the eighth house bring? And only this thing about the marriage that it would be called as like
There would have been some challenges for sure, but mostly the scandalous energy of that taboo thing can be seen.
I can
Hmm.
understand. So So moving on to the other aspects of his life, which were very significant in the sense. So he studied philosophy in the university,
Uh-huh.
and he also obtained a master's degree, and he was preparing for doctor's thesis before leaving academia for politics. And he also worked as an investment banker at Rothschild and CA Bank for several years, making millions before entering politics. This gave him deep connection in the business world.
Huh.
So,
So now we look at only. So this would have happened in the Mars Dasha,
exactly,
right?
that is
Yeah.
obvious. Yes.
So that's from age 26 to 33, right?
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So now if you look at the Mars here in D1 chart, Mars itself is weak, but its Lord is very strong.
Okay, moon. Yeah, moon is strong.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's one thing. And Mars is activating the 11th house of money. He's a
Oh,
lot of that. So he's interested in that. But money is not coming from Mars here because Mars doesn't have the energy. But it's
mm,
showing the interest for the desire to earn money.
mm,
And Mars is also the fourth lord. So
mm,
that's for domestic life and building a house and things like that.
mm,
Now we'll repeat the same thing in D9.
mm,
So now Mars here is again in the 11th house.
mm, mm,
And it's sitting with a very strong Jupiter,
mm. I
right?
got it.
And
Yes.
Jupiter is the second lord. So this is a Dhan Yoga or a wealth combination. Because
Okay.
second and 11th are both of money.
Interesting.
So he, by the grace of Jupiter and the moon, there, he'll earn a lot of money.
Excellent. Amazing.
And
So it
here
is.
also, if you see in the second house, Venus is exalted. So that's also bringing him a lot of money. Yeah.
Interesting.
And if you look at Mars, it's also the 10th lord. So money is coming directly through his work.
Okay.
And it's also the third lord. So there would have been some involvement of his siblings or teammates
Mm.
support.
Yeah. I can definitely. That's a possibility.
Mm.
That's interesting. And he's also an accomplished pianist, having studied music at a young age, including piano, guitar, and cello lessons. I think it is coming from the moon, isn't it? Please.
Moon and Venus. So here moon is strong.
Okay.
And in the D9, Venus is strong.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
So we can see everything in the chart.
Yeah. And if you also look, his Atma Karaka is Venus.
Mm.
So he definitely has a lot of interest in Venusian things.
I mean, the top is French also. They already have
Yeah.
a thing towards
But
arts.
the creative pianist thing is coming from Venus
Mm. Mm. Interesting.
and Moon. Yeah.
So coming to now the very important things. This was in his youth that he did all these things and all.
Mm.
And another thing was the very important thing milestone in his life was he founded his own centrist political party called En Marche, which means
Mm.
on the move, in 2016.
Okay. So now
And
Rahu Dasha comes in. So
yeah,
from his 33 plus 18 years, right?
yeah.
So 33 to 51,
Mm.
his Rahu Dasha is running, which is still running.
Yeah, and at the age of 20 in 2017, he became the youngest president in French history. He was only 39 when elected in
Mm.
2017.
Mm.
Yeah, 39.
Yeah, so that time when he founded the party and probably became president, his Rahu Saturn was running.
uh,
Right?
so
Saturn is the planet
what
for
led to Raj Yoga?
Saturn
Yeah.
is the planet for great accomplishments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, if you look here, you will say, okay, Saturn is weak.
Yes, exactly. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he would have definitely faced a lot of challenges doing that.
Mm,
But one thing you see, Saturn is in the house of Leo.
mm, mm,
Yeah? That shows that political
mm,
interest or the energy going into politics.
mm.
But Saturn is very strong in the
Navamsa.
Navamsa. Again, it's in the fifth house. So here it's in the fifth sign, and in the Navamsa, it's in the fifth house. So
Okay.
that fifth house or Rashi rules politics.
Okay.
So we can clearly see where Saturn is taking in.
Oh, but what led him to his this Raj Yoga? Basically, the president is the highest form of Raj Yoga in the sense. So,
Right, right. Okay,
what?
let's look into that. So basically, here Saturn is the Lagna Lord.
Mm.
It's in the fifth
Yes,
sign.
yes,
Yeah.
along with
So
Rahu.
that itself, it's a very strong combination because both houses are very strong and the planet is also very strong. So that's enough to give a person a lot of success.
Oh, interesting.
And Rahu again he will
Magnify.
have to do a lot of hard work because Saturn and Rahu are both rough planets.
Mm.
But because of the houses being very good,
Mm.
he gets a lot of success.
Okay, so what? So they will also bring roughness in this because, as I can see, Rahu Saturn together because both being malefic.
Yeah, he's still facing challenges, right? I mean, riots and stuff. So it won't be an easy journey for him,
Mm.
for sure.
So, but what led to the result being so positive? Like he was becoming president in spite of this rough planet. So, what exactly was the factor? Basically, means.
So basically, first house being very strong and fifth house being very strong. So two Kona Sthan being very strong uh,
Mm.
brought him that success.
Interesting. So, this was he became and another thing was he doesn't have his own children. Basically, he's a stepfather to the children of his wife. Basically, they have three adult children who is a stepfather to, and
So they divorced, is it?
no, they are he's married, but his wife who was married,
Already had kids.
yeah, earlier, so he doesn't have
Okay,
his.
uh,
No.
so let's look at kids then.
Hmm.
So now fifth lord is Venus, right?
Hmm.
Venus is in an enemy sign. That's
Hmm.
not supported.
Hmm.
And again, it's in the Scorpio eighth sign, which is again brings obstructions.
Hmm.
Then we look at Jupiter.
Hmm.
Jupiter is again in the sixth house and it's again weak in an enemy sign. So
Hmm.
that's also not supporting. And then you will look at the fifth Rashi. Fifth Rashi is gone in the eighth house with
Hmm.
Saturn.
Hmm.
That's also not good.
Hmm.
And then you will look at the fifth Padam. So
Hmm.
fifth Padam is with Gulika and Mandi.
Hmm.
Both are very rough. Whenever they're together, they cause a lot of obstruction. So
Hmm.
all four combinations are negative for having kids.
Okay, so that's why he has kids from means like he's a stepfather. Basically, he has step kids.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'll repeat the same in D9. So here Saturn, Rahu. Saturn is strong, but there are two rough planets. So again, because he has kids of from his partner,
Hmm.
uh, I think he has step kids, right? So that some blessing is there from Saturn,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
then fifth lord is Mercury with Sun.
Hmm.
So again, they are strong. So in D9, there is some relief because of which he has been able to be a stepfather. And then
Yeah.
you will repeat fifth Rashi is in the seventh house, and
Hmm.
then fifth Padam is in the third house with his
Hmm.
son.
Interesting. Very interesting insights. And also another thing, he got re-elected also in 2022. So
Okay.
how can you see that
So
also?
let's look at his time during 20, which year you said?
2022 he got re-elected.
So Rahu Venus, right? Venus is exalted for him.
Hmm.
So that's a very good time. And the Lord of Venus is Jupiter, again very strong. It,
Okay.
that was a really good time for him.
Interesting.
He would have had to face some challenges due to Ketu Mars, but yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. So interesting. So these are very interesting insights. So now let's move on to the challenges because that's the more important part. Obviously, this was what his was journey. And what else can you find something interesting in this chart other than what basically we have
Um,
his biography for and his
we can
personal.
look into his future.
Hmm.
So let's wrap up what we have seen about his past.
Yeah.
So we have seen his education because the
Hmm.
Venus and Jupiter are strong. We saw his interest in music because of Venus being Atmakaraka.
Hmm.
We saw challenges in having own kids.
Hmm.
We saw the eighth house energy, the unconventional energy in marriage.
Yes. Yes.
And we saw because of the blessing of Saturn, he came to power
Yes.
and
Yes.
he made his own party and then he got re-elected because of Venus.
Hmm. Hmm.
And his moon dasha brought him a lot of good education.
Hmm.
Now let's see what current Russia is running. Okay.
Hmm.
So he's running Rahu Venus still. So it's still a good time for him.
Hmm.
So despite the riots, I don't think he has faced as much flack as he would have.
I can
And
understand. In fact, he
uh,
hasn't. It became a
uh,
news, but
hmm. And that also you can see. See, the Lord of Venus is with Ketu and Mars. So he has had to face those kind of violent and events.
hmm,
So that also you can see.
hmm. I I want to add a few things here, which are
Hmm.
first of all, can we how he worked uh, in an investment bank also. So how can we see this investment banking connection through the chart?
Right. So banks are mostly ruled by either they have a connection to Jupiter
Hmm.
or Mercury. So
Hmm.
here we see that Jupiter is very strong in the 11th house,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And that's what was active also.
Hmm.
Because in the Mars Dasha, that's when he made the money, right?
Hmm.
So that's coming from the Jupiter.
Exactly.
In context of him, his future in handling the country, let's look at the future Dashas.
Hmm.
So, so after this, in 2024, and basically in 2025 is Rahu Moon period will start,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Which is also a good period for him because Moon here it's strong and in D9 it's activating Venus,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we saw that in Moon period he gained a lot of money, and it was a good time for him. Here also it will be a good time for him. There will be some blemish due to the eighth for them here,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And Mars again, Mars is activated, which is weak, so he won't be. He probably will be criticized for not taking as much action as he
Hmm.
should.
Hmm.
Then again, Mars is active for till 2027,
Hmm.
and Mars we saw is activating Jupiter, right, which is very good for him. But again,
Hmm.
this Ketu Mars combination keeps bringing challenges.
We got some really nice insights, some minute insights, and
Hmm.
it really helped us understand the chart as well as his journey as a as a human, as a politician, and also his personal life, which was also evidently we can guess or see clearly through his chart. So it was amazing. So hope you guys also enjoyed it, and I think we'll come up with another celebrity, we'll come up with another famous personality, and we'll do a chart analysis. So
Okay.
any things you want to add while we close this?
No,
Anything?
no, that's it. So we'll pick up another influential person next time.
Yeah,
And like, share, subscribe, comment, let us know the feedback. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Bon nuit.